Gemini, welcome to your reading. So this is actually going to be your astrology reading for the month of May. And so the way that this is structured, it's going to be most applicable to your rising sign. So this would be your ascendant, your first house, if you're pulling your astrology chart, and that's how other people perceive you. It is also applicable for your sun sign. So that is how you express yourself. So you can see kind of there, you're getting that kind of internal, external. But then there's also your moon sign. And so your moon sign is how you process everything emotionally. So really listening to all three gives you that holistic picture of how things are going to play out for the month for you. And so with that, May is full of Taurus and Gemini energy. And so happy birthday, Gemini. Where this is going to impact you in the wheel, the zodiacal wheel, 12th and first houses. So the 12th house is all about your subconscious. So internal you, external you with that first house energy. So a lot of impact. It feels like a lot of growth is going to be happening here for you. And we start off pretty early in the month. So on May 2nd at 1:47 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to have Pluto station retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. And so Pluto retrograde indicates that any kind of transformation that you might have been experiencing outward is now going to be directed inward. In the sign of Aquarius, very liberating type of energy. So these would be changes for you. Pluto retrograde in Aquarius is all about your ninth house. And so what changes are you looking internally for growth? Because that's what the ninth house is. It's all about growth, expansion. Can be long distance travel, maybe seeing the truth of a situation, something along those lines. But it really is about growth and expansion here. And Pluto retrograde right away is going to trine Jupiter in Taurus, and that is sitting in your 12th house. And so that 12th house energy is your subconscious. It is maybe how you talk to yourself, how you see yourself internally. And so I love to see this because there's a lot of transformation taking place in maybe something about yourself that you want to grow, but then also about the way that you're perceiving yourself too, because that Jupiter energy is also growth and expansion. And so love to see it. Taurus is a very grounding energy. Really, really positive here. So there could be some sort of spiritual growth that's taking place for you during this month, or actually during this entire time. So Pluto's going to be retrograde for a little while, and we'll talk about it when it happens. It's actually going to go back into Capricorn before it stations direct again. Pluto will also be trine Uranus in the sign of Taurus. And so again, Pluto retrograde, you're really going to thinking about, okay, what changes need to happen internally in order for me to grow and expand and really do what I want to do here. Uranus and Taurus, what changes need to happen subconsciously? I mean, this is really the same type of energy. It's just said differently, but Uranus is about change. Again, Taurus, very practical, what you value, what you want, really holding on to what matters most to you and letting go of the rest. We'll also have Pluto sextile Mars in the sign of Aries. So now Mars is the ruler of Aries. So it's really that energy kind of amplified. And what this is doing is giving you some sort of opportunity to take action, to remove those barriers, really have that transition or transformation, that internal transformation that you're looking for in order to be able to grow. And here it's an opportunity to take action within your circle of friends. And so love to see that because this is giving you maybe some sort of opportunity to expand those relationships, deepen those relationships on some sort of level based on whatever you're trying to, or whatever you are doing for yourself. Pluto will also be sextile Neptune and Pisces. And so when this happens here, again, it's all about removing barriers. That's what Pluto and Aquarius does. Neptune and Pisces is all about your dreams. What is it that you want to hear? What do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish? This is creating some sort of opportunity. So the growth changes that you're trying to make internally will have an impact on your career and public reputation if you do something about it. And so it's not just about any kind of actions you want to take in your community with your friends, but it's also giving you an opportunity to have the public reputation, to have the career that you want here. We'll also have Pluto square Venus in the sign of Taurus. And so Venus in the sign of Taurus, Venus is the ruler of Taurus. So again, more of that energy amplified. So really focusing here on what you value, what matters the most to you. Venus in Taurus is sitting in your 12th house. So this is your subconscious. So we're kind of back to that whole, the changes that I need to make internally in order to experience some sort of growth. There is some sort of challenge or obstacle to maybe holding on to what you value. This would be some sort of maybe belief system, maybe some way of seeing yourself that needs to be changed, needs to be let go. It is creating some sort of obstacle. If you are trying to grow yourself spiritually, Is there something about your belief system that needs to change here? What is happening here? Because ninth house can be a very spiritual house, but so is the 12th. And so really kind of focusing here on overcoming those obstacles because you can. And then on the 7th, we'll have the new moon in Taurus. So that's going to happen at 11:22 p.m. Eastern time. And so when it happens, we'll have the sun, moon, Venus, Jupiter, and Uranus all in Taurus. So lots of energy happening here. And when this happens right away, because it's new moon, we'll have the sun and the moon at the same degree point in the sky. The sun in Taurus is all about really highlighting what you value, what you want here. It's sitting in your 12th house. It's conjunct your moon in your 12th house. So how you feel about yourself, how you see yourself, there is definitely some sort of an alignment here. It is about, focusing on what you value or what you value spiritually about yourself. We'll also have the sun and moon conjunct Venus in the sign of Taurus. So again, what is it here about you value? Because that Venus and Taurus, it's going to amplify the energy. Venus is the ruler. And so seeing a positive view of yourself and really looking for that too. Really wanting to see yourself in this way. So lots of positivity connected to this one for you. We'll also have the sun and moon conjunct Jupiter in the sign of Taurus. And so again, more growth, more expansion, the way you see yourself, you're really happy with the way you see yourself, you're feeling really positive about it. And how do you keep that going? How do you keep that going from a momentum standpoint, from continuing to prioritize what you value standpoint, all of that showing up here, as well as it's going to be conjunct, both the sun and moon will be conjunct Uranus in the sign of Taurus. So maybe there's some additional changes that need to be made here in order for you to keep that growth going, in order to continue feeling good about yourself. That's showing up. Then we'll also have the sun and moon sextile Neptune and Pisces. And again, Neptune and Pisces is sitting in your career and public reputation. So what do you want from a career standpoint? How do you want people to see you? Because what you're seeing and how you feel about yourself is giving you an opportunity to go after the career that you want, have the public reputation that you want. And then on the 15th at 1:05 p.m. Eastern time, we'll have Mercury, Venus, Sun, Jupiter, and Uranus all in Taurus. And so that's a lot of energy here. Right away, Mercury will trine the moon in Leo. Mercury in Taurus. So Mercury is all about communication, information. So it's not just outward communication, it's also processing information in the sign of Taurus. So again, thinking about what you value. It's earth energy, so it's very grounded, very practical. Trine moon in Leo. So that is some sort of creative expression of yourself, really being authentic to who you are. And this is just past the retrograde shadow. So Mercury retrograde shadow would have ended on the 13th. So we're fully into this, Mercury being direct energy. So take that as it resonates. You might be speaking a little bit more forthcoming about things. But for you, this Mercury in Taurus is sitting in your 12th house. So really thinking about yourself, kind of the way that you want to express yourself internally. Trine moon in Leo, your 3rd house. And so now it's an outward expression as well. So there is this inward and outward, really getting yourself into some sort of alignment here with the way you see yourself, the way you want to be seen, really coming into some sort of alignment. I love to see this energy. We'll also have Mercury square Pluto in Aquarius. And so Pluto retrograde in the sign of Aquarius is sitting in your 9th house of growth. So again, thinking about what you want to change internally in order to have the growth that you want here. And then what kind of challenge or obstacle is there into the way that you want to be seen, into the way that you see yourself, because that Mercury in Taurus is sitting in your 12th house. But this isn't meant to be read in isolation. So the way that you see yourself, the way that you're expressing yourself, there is an alignment there, but is that creating some sort of friction to maybe the growth that you have for yourself? Is it, in order to grow something, you still need to change something about yourself, and maybe you're just not ready to do that yet, because this would be the obstacle or challenge that is being created here. But again, can be overcome. And then on the 20th, we'll have the sun enter Gemini. So that's going to happen at 9 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. And so when that happens, we'll have the sun conjunct Venus, Jupiter, and Uranus. Except that Venus, Jupiter, and Uranus are all in the sign of Taurus, and the sun is sitting in Gemini. And so the sun in Gemini, you, very intellectual, very curious, asks a lot of questions on things, wants to know the details, wants to understand the why behind everything. Really, really great sign for that. Conjunct Venus. So Venus, Jupiter in Taurus, Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus. So That's a really interesting combination, because that, how you express yourself, that first house energy, that curiosity, the intellect that you have, the way that you express yourself, there is an alignment, a complete blending of energies with what you value about yourself, the growth that you see for yourself, maybe the changes that you're trying to make to yourself, because that Taurus energy is all that internal change, that subconscious, the way that you see yourself. So there's a lot of authenticity coming through here because of that blending of the energies, that inward and outward expression are in alignment. We'll also have the Sun trine Pluto retrograde in Aquarius again. So you can see there's a lot happening with Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. It's going to continue to show up throughout the month. With the Sun in Gemini sitting in your first house, so again, expressing yourself, really being authentic here about being curious, being open, being direct. That Sun energy, it's direct. Trine that Pluto retrograde in Aquarius, it's helping you make those internal changes that you want in order to have the growth that you want for yourself, in order to maybe pursue the higher education or go after some sort of long distance travel. Whatever it is that you're trying to change within yourself as it relates to that ninth house energy, that this is an easy blend of energy. There is a full alignment here without any effort. Then we'll also have the Sun sextile Neptune in Pisces. And so how you're expressing yourself, that Sun in Gemini, is creating an opportunity for you to have the career and the public reputation that you want. So really positive from this perspective. I love how this is coming across, because there's this internal and external alignment of you. And what it's doing is it's opening up and giving you opportunities to go after exactly what you want here with that career and public reputation. And then on the 23rd, we'll have the full moon in Sagittarius. So that's going to happen at 9:53 in the morning Eastern time. And so Sagittarius is your opposite sign. You're going to be, the Sun and Moon are going to be at opposite points in the sky. And this is really about highlighting what works, what doesn't work. Sun in Gemini, let's get down to the details. Let's be very curious. Moon in Sagittarius, well, let's feel about the big picture. How do we think that's going to play out? And so this is creating some sort of push-pull, because it is an opposition. They are at opposite points in the sky. And so for you, the interesting dynamic here is Sun in Gemini. So how you're expressing yourself, because that's still sitting in your first house, and it always will, well, at least when it's in the sign of Gemini, opposite the moon in Sagittarius. So now this is your maybe significant other. If you're married, it would be your marriage partner, or that significant relationship, that long-term relationship, because this is giving you, creating some sort of friction. I was going to say it's giving you an opportunity, but only if you decide to work with the energy. It's not something that would happen easily. It's creating some sort of friction. What you're saying about yourself, how you want to be seen, how you're expressing yourself, is creating some sort of friction within your personal relationships. It's all coming to light. There's something about seeing the truth of the situation that is coming across here. And then what you're going to see here, as I get into the next several aspects, is that the Sun and the Moon, there's a lot of interaction here with other planets. There's a lot of conversation happening here among the planets, because at the same time as this full moon, we'll have the Sun conjunct Jupiter, Venus, and Uranus. So exactly what I talked about when it came to the 20th. This is about that self-expression that highlights your growth, your expansion, your harmony within yourself, any kind of changes that are necessary for yourself. And so really love to see this, because those changes that are happening are all internal, because that's all sitting in your 12th house, that Venus, Jupiter, and Uranus energy, and that self-expression, that Sun in Gemini energy. So really love to see that. Here's where it gets a little bit interesting. So the moon is going to be opposite Jupiter, Venus, and Uranus in the sign of Taurus. And so when it comes to those changes that you want to make, how you feel about your significant other, or how you feel about that relationship, is creating some sort of roadblock here to your growth and expansion and any kind of changes that you're trying to make to yourself internally. So just kind of keep that in mind. I've got a couple more to go through here, because there's a lot of energy happening during this full moon. So not only do they have conversations with Jupiter, Venus, and Uranus, they have conversations with Neptune and Pisces. And so the moon in Sagittarius trine Neptune and Pisces. Neptune and Pisces, again, your house of career and public reputation. And I'm focused on the positive one first. So the moon in Sagittarius trine Neptune and Pisces. So how you feel about your personal relationships, how you feel about your significant other, does create some sort of easy blend with the career that you want. There's an easiness here. No effort required in order for those to come into some sort of alignment here. And so this is really about how you express your feelings in those personal relationships, aligns with the career, aligns with your public reputation, everything that you want there. Now, the sun in Gemini, sextile Neptune and Pisces. And so this is creating some sort of opportunity. So you have a specific way of feeling about your significant other and how that relates to your career. And what this is also doing is how you express yourself is creating an opportunity within your career and public reputation. So kind of piggybacking on what I said earlier, when I see an opposite or some sort of opposition here, there's so much other things happening here. This is easily overcome, easily, just because of all these other things happening here, because that's not all. They also have a conversation with Pluto retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. So Sun trine Pluto retrograde. And so what this is doing, it's a really easy blend of energy where the way you're expressing yourself, the level of detail is really aligned with the internal changes that you're making to yourself. So kind of going back to that internal external alignment again. The moon in Sagittarius is sextile Pluto retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. So this would be where your significant other, where your personal one-to-one relationships are creating some sort of opportunity to also help you grow. And so again, it's not like there's some horrible energy that you're not going to be able to overcome. It does look like there's maybe a little bit of friction in the changes that you're trying to make to yourself and the way that you want to be seen and how that relates to your personal relationships. But I don't think that that's going to be anything that's so significant or so dramatic. You have a lot of positive energy around that too. Then we have Venus enter the sign of Gemini on the 23rd at 4:31 in the afternoon. So literally the same day as the full moon, just later in the day. So this one's at 9:53 in the morning. We have the Venus enter Gemini at 4:31 in the afternoon. So obviously right away, Venus is going to be conjunct the sun. It's going to be opposite the moon. So when it's conjunct the sun, Venus in Gemini is very social, very talkative. Gemini energy, I mean, you're very talkative, easy to talk to for sure. Venus, very friendly, very outgoing, very social. And so really how you're expressing yourself, this feels like a lot of levity, like easy time to make friends, easy getting to know other people, because Venus is all about bringing people together here. And so Venus will also be conjunct Jupiter and Uranus in the sign of Taurus. And so again, Jupiter, growth and expansion, something very practical, very grounded based on what you value, what you want. Uranus, allowing for those changes to take place. So Venus, Gemini, first house. We've got Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus in your 12th house. And so again, a lot of alignment internally and externally with this Venus energy. It's really about bringing those things into alignment. Venus is all about bringing things together. And so this is a really positive way of blending your inner and outer self. We'll also have Venus sextile Neptune and Pisces. And so all of this creativity, all of the way that you're expressing yourself, being very social, outgoing during this time, is going to create an opportunity for you in your career or public reputation. And so love to see that here, because creating an opportunity, always a positive. It does require you to act though. It's not just going to be handed to you. We'll also have, again, like I said in the beginning, Venus opposite the moon, because we got the Venus in Gemini, moon in Sagittarius. And so here, there's something about maybe being social, being friendly. It might be creating some sort of challenge or obstacle in your personal relationships. Like maybe you're being a little bit too flirtatious, and that's creating some sort of friction here. It's going to depend. Or maybe it's something about seeing the truth in a situation, or maybe there's something you're learning about this relationship through the way that you're expressing yourself. Maybe you're seeing another side to this person. It is creating some sort of obstacle or challenge. But again, this is all energy that can be worked with. Then we'll have Jupiter enter Gemini. And so the two benefic planets, both entering your sign towards the end of the month. This is really positive here. So Jupiter in Gemini, so that's going to happen on the 25th at 7:15 p.m. Eastern time. We'll have Sun, Venus, Jupiter all in that sign, all in your sign of Gemini. And this is really all about you physically. Sun, I mean, these are all really positive energies. Sun highlights things. I mean, who's miserable in the sun? Let's be honest. And so the sun is going to highlight things. Venus is all about bringing things together. Jupiter, growth and expansion, all very positive when it comes to who you are and just how you maybe talk about yourself. You want to be seen. You are ruled by Mercury. So that's definitely going to be coming into play here. So all three planets are going to blend their energy right away when this happens. And so this could be an opportunity. You might be expanding your ideas to bring together people, maybe things that you value, things that you want here. Jupiter will also be conjunct Uranus. Uranus is still in the sign of Taurus. It's a very slow moving planet. It's one of those outer planets. And so when you're looking to maybe expand your ideas, you are being given this, because this is a really easy blend of energy. It's all about the practical changes that you want to make. So what is it that you want to do here? It's about taking your ideas, grounding them in reality, but then they're also going to be well received by other people because of the way that you're expressing them, because of that grounding nature, that energy of, you know what, I think that it just needs to be grounded. Let me focus on what I value, what I want. And it's just about coming across very authentic. We'll also have Jupiter in Gemini, conjunct Uranus and Taurus. I think I just spoke about that. Where this is an alignment with your internal and external self, any kind of growth that you're looking for here, the changes that you need to make to your physical person, you can make those changes internally for sure. Jupiter trine Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And so this is where all of the growth that you want for yourself, how you want to be seen, that kind of growth in really just how you want to be seen is probably the best way to put it. Because that Jupiter and Gemini sitting in your first house. So what ideas do you have? What is it that you want to execute here, implement? Trine Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And so again, Pluto retrograde in Aquarius, what kind of internal changes are you making when it comes to your growth? Because Jupiter is growth, ninth house is growth. And so there's some sort of internal change happening with Pluto and Aquarius sitting in that house that Jupiter would normally occupy or naturally occupy. Very much the same energy here. And so really, whatever you're trying to do from a big idea standpoint, it's creating this easy energy with the internal changes that you're making to yourself in order to grow. And then we'll also have Jupiter sextile Neptune in Pisces. And so how you're expressing yourself, expanding your ideas, going after the big picture here, what kind of opportunities is that opening for you when it comes to your career and public reputation? Because that's also being highlighted here. And so love to see how this is playing out for you. This is a really positive, it feels like it's going to be a really positive month. You might have a little bit of friction here towards the end of the month when it comes to a partner, but it doesn't feel like it's anything that would be, I'm getting not extremely damaging or anything like that. Maybe just a little bit of friction here. So Gemini, this is your reading. I hope it resonates. If it did, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care.